What's up, guys? It's Shady here, and today we're here with our week 3 game, or no, our week 4 game of the APA Academy Season 1. This week we're going to get against Tone and his Miami Malamarlins. Yeah, Malamarlins. He took over for PokeMaster Mike, who unfortunately had to drop due to personal reasons, and so we're now facing him. This week, if we can get the big one, we'll be up 3-1. We'll be almost at the top. We'll be like 3rd place. So that'd be a really nice spot to be. So hopefully we can win. If you guys do enjoy, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe down below. But anyways, we're gonna quickly go over our teams. Our teams are on the screen, and his team, or both of our teams are on the screen. Either way, I'm gonna read it out. We got the GarchompTheGod, the Tangrowth, the Rotom, the Mega Aerodactyl, the Rabombi, the Escavalier, the Azelf, the Quillfish, Hitmontop, and Lightbard. He's got the Mega Venusaur, the Tapu-Fini, the Mammo, the Arcanine, the Cobalion, the Swallow, the Icelgor, the Goodra, the Reuniclus, the Zoroark, and the Rotom. I already had to record this one, so that's kind of why I'm going a little bit faster. I accidentally recorded with my mic on mute on OBS, so we're having to re-record this. We're going to go over the team we brought. We got a Wise Glasses, the Zelf, Psychic Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, and Nasty Plot. Looking at his team, he has almost no switch-ins. He's got the Reuniclus. Spadef for Reuniclus could take a Shadow Ball +2, and the Goodra could take a hit at +2. Other than the two Mons, nothing on his team taking it. There's only like Swallow that could outspeed us. Zoroarks and Sucker Punch could be very scary, and then just any potential Scarfers and the Icelgor could are the only things that really could stop an Azelf sweep. So Azelf is putting a lot of pressure on that team. Next we got Fizdef, Rotom, Overheat, Toxic, Pain Split, and Defog. Defog obviously get rid of Hazard, Pain Split to get health back. Toxic, I don't know why I really brought it. I guess just to Toxic things like the Goodra if the Misty Terrain wasn't up. I kind of wish I brought Volt Switch though. It didn't really matter too much in the game, but Overheat or Volt Switch would have been nice. And then Overheat just to get damage off on that Mamoswine. This is mainly here for the Mamoswine. So yeah. Next we got our Rabombi here, Moonblast, Psychic, Quiver Dance, and the Roost. Moonblast and Psychic is all we need. Quiver Dance and Roost. Quiver Dance, if we get up to +2, we can start actually out, like we could Roost and Quiver Dance off even the Mega Venusaur Sludge Bomb, and we're looking pretty decent to sweep. If we get up a couple of Quiver Dances, we can Quiver Dance on like a Fizdef, or not Fizdef, but just defensive Tapu-Fini, or on things such as the Icelgor, potentially the Goodra, and the Rotom. So Psychic or Z Psychic for specifically that the Mega Venusaur, because the team has a trouble breaking, like getting Mega Venusaur chipped down easily, honestly, in my opinion, without being pressured a lot, because like an offensive Mega Venusaur or just Mega Venusaur in general is very scary for our team. Its stabs hurt us a lot, so I'll kind of look into potentially just punch a hole in it and just cripple it for the entire game to the point where he's not able to get synthesis off on anything. So yeah, that's our Rabombi set. We got a Mega Aerodactyl, just 3 attack Roost, Zone Edge, Wing Attack, Earthquake. Roost because I'm hoping this could switch into Spec Swallow decently, and we have a lot of HP. We have 172. We could run Adamant and then still have to be at the same speed, but I decided I'd rather want the HP so I could take the Boom Burst and Roost them off, because Spec Swallow's Boom Burst does a lot versus our team. So yeah, that's what we brought. We have a Spadef, AV, Tangrowth, Gigadrin, Knockoff, Sludge Bomb, and Earthquake just to take hits from things such as, you know, the Goodra, the Tapu-Fini, the Spadef Cobalion, the Zoroark, the Rotom, just a lot of things. It helps a lot. Last we got a Life Orb, SD, Quillfish with Waterfall, Poison Jab, Explosion. SD, just offensive. Waterfall, Poison Jab did a lot versus team. If we get an SD up, the only thing taking at +2 Life Orb Explosion is that Fizdef for Reuniclus, and Reuniclus even takes like 80% from it, so crippling things like that, or just OHKO that Mega Venusaur would have been really nice. So you'll see what Quillfish and the entire squad is capable of doing in this game. We're just gonna hop into the battle against Tone. I closed the battle replay for me to watch, so that's cool. I'm gonna have to reopen it real quick. So yeah, you see R6, he decides to bring his Swallow, his Rotom, his Tapu Fini, his Mega Venusaur, his Mamoswine, and his Reuniclus. I'm thinking defensive, Vizdef, Calm Mind, Reuniclus, some kind of offensive Mamoswine, not really sure item, potentially banned. Defensive Mega Venusaur, defensive Tapu Fini, a Scarf Rotom, and the Spec Swallow. Here I decided to lead with my Tangrowth as I predicted the Rotom to lead, as he actually ends up leading with his Swallow, which is unfortunate for us. Here though, I figured that getting the specs gone and crippling the Swallow so that not as much of a threat would be amazing. So here I decided to stay in and take the knockoff, risk the Hurricane. He does not click Hurricane, he just clicks the Boom Burst. We take it because we're Speed FAV, and I'm just going to knock off that with specs, and that's amazing. Here I knew U-turn was a possibility. In fact, it was almost as, like, he was 90% of the time going to click U-turn there, but I did not want to risk him to take the U-turn, or I did not want to risk him clicking Hurricane on my Tangrowth, and plus I knew we had the arrow in the back with the Boom Burst who could always take the hit, so, and could roost it off later in the game, so he decided to go into Mega Arrow as he U-turns into Rotom, so that pretty much 100% confirms to me that he Scarfed. Here I knew Voltage was coming, but obviously we couldn't stay in with Mega Aerodactyl, so I just decided to go into my my Rotom. I see the full switching out into Tapu Fini. Here, as I go into my Tangrowth here, because I knew I could take any hint from this Tangrowth. As he sets up the Misty Terrain, I get my leftovers, I'm a little bit ahead. But I guess let's bring it up. Now, I think I definitely need to roost off with that Mega Arrow, because Mega Arrow, just because it's a Mega Arrow, it can take any hit from full from pretty much anything. So that will be very important later in the game, so I need to try to find some point to roost. Here, like I said, I'm going to go into my Tangrowth, take that Surf in. Honestly, from that Surf damage, that looks pretty offensive. So, that's definitely something I'm kind of looking into. Here, I knew Mega Venusaur was going to come out, and I knew I had a hard time switching into Mega Venusaur, so here I'm going to double into my Azelf, and surely enough, he is going to go into his Venusaur. Here, I knew that he'd swap, and so we'd be able to get the free Nasty Plot. Or even if he did stay in for whatever reason, we could live any hit from it and get a free Nasty Plot and just nuke something. I didn't think he'd go hard Swallow though. So we pretty much just revealed that we're a Nasty Plot, and we're forced to swap here. And we can't even like do anything about it. He now knows that we're Nasty Plot. And if we had just clicked Psychic against it, one, we 2 KO the Mega Venusaur, and 2, we could have just killed this as Elf, but I knew that we could just nuke something if we had set the Nasty Plot. So it's definitely unfortunate from us that he went just hard Swallow. It's a very good point on him though, so I gotta give him that. We decided to go into our Mega Arrow to take the Boom Burst, that's what he does. And here I should have clicked Roost, because like I was saying, I could take the Roost, or I could take the Brave Bird, or fuck, I could take the Boom Burst pretty well, and I could always just Roost up. And plus, if we need to be at full, like I said, we need to be as close to full as possible so we can take any hit. If he just keeps Boom Bursting, that's fine. We could always Stone Edge the next turn. And even if he just U-turned and we had that same cycle of turns again, I would just Psychic on the Mega Venusaur instead of clicking Nasty Plot, and we'll 2 KO it, we'll live the hit from the Mega Venusaur, and we'll kill the incoming Swallow if he decides to go into Swallow. But we just clicked the Stone Edge and killed, so you'll see how me not getting my Roost off and not being at full with Mega Arrow, or as close to full as I could, will matter later in the game. You'll see where that matters. But we killed, he went into Rotom, I had to go into my Rotom and take the full switch, he went into his Tapu Fini, and here he's going to go for the Moonblast, and here I'm pretty much 100% sure he's modest specs, just based on that damage. It doing a lot with that Moonblast damage, considering we're max def AEV. Here, I click the Giga Drain here, and we're only going to do 45%, which is very, very unfortunate. That's annoying. But here, I figure I could live another Moonblast, and with the Giga Drain recovery and the regen, it really wouldn't be that big of a deal, and we'll just get that Tapu Fini very, very low. But he just goes into his Mega Venusaur, which is a problem, because now we're going to have to switch into it. Here, I decided to go into my Rotom to scout what he wants to do, knowing Sludge Bomb was probably going to be the move. And yeah, he's going to go into he's going to Mega Evolve with this Mega Venusaur, and we're gonna take the Sludge Bomb with our Rotom, but because we're physically defensive and not Spadef, and because this is a Mega Venusaur, that Sludge Bomb is doing a hell of a lot of damage. So that's unfortunate. So yeah, we're gonna go for the Pain Split here just to get a little bit more health on our Rotom, and to chip down this Mega Venusaur. So he's just gonna put the Sludge Bomb again, and that's really gonna hurt us a lot. And it's going to bring it down to more or less where we were before. Here, I figured he'd click Synthesis just to stay healthy with this Mega Venusaur, because Rotom's like one of the few things he can freely Synthesis on. And he ends up clicking the Leech Seed, which is very, very like annoying. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad he didn't click Sludge Bomb as we under Rabombi predicting the Synthesis. But because he clicked Leech Seed, we could live a Sludge Bomb at +1 from this thing. And then we'd be able to pop the Z from that point, and we guaranteed kill this thing from what it's at. Or just in general, I think we just go to +1, the Z Psychic. But because he clicked Leech Seed, we can no longer live. We can't live the Sludge Bomb at plus Leech Seed damage at +1. So that's unfortunate. So here we're just gonna have to just pop the Z right away to really bring this thing down. If he clicks Synthesis, predicting that, I'm pretty sure he lived Psychic. You can keep living Psychics, but we just keep spamming Psychic in order to keep the thing window down, because Psychic from this thing, from the Rabombi, plus Psychic from the itself killed, always. But he's just going to Sludge Bomb, which is good for us. He's just going to kill my Rabombi. This thing's now at 10%. Here I'm just going to go into myself because the pressure is a bunch. And I'm just going to click the Shadow Ball, just because Shadow Ball plus any of my moves killed anything on his team. Just as Elf had a really, really good matchup against his team. And we're just going to kill here our Mega Venusaur. He can go into the top of Finny. And I guess he didn't think Thunderbolt would kill. Maybe he didn't think about Thunderbolt. I'm not sure. But thanks to the Wise Glasses, we are guaranteed to kill this thing with the Thunderbolt based on the calc, or what I think his spread was, based off the Giga Drain damage from earlier. So we're just going to click the Thunderbolt here, and we're going to take out the top of Finny there. Here, he's going to go into his Rotom, and I'm just going to go into my Tangrowth. I know he can take Shadow Balls, Thunderbolts, Volt Switches, whatever he decides to go for. He's going to click the Shadow Ball, and we can take it, like I said, because we're Spadef AV. And here, I'm just going to stay in and click the knockoff. I have a really, really free knockoff, because I mean, we could take the hit, we can knock off the thing Scarf, we can knock off like a potential ban on the Mamoswine, we could take off the we could knock off like whatever on the Reuniclus leftovers, you know, whatever he may have been. But we're gonna knock off this thing, we're gonna take another Shadow Ball, and we're gonna Giga Drain just to kill it. So down goes the Rotom. And here he can go into Mamo. I made a mistake here. I stacked my Tangrowth here just to get a free switch into something. I really should have stacked the Rotom. Rotom at the health it was at was not doing its job of walling Mamoswine anymore. That's the only reason I kept it around. I really shouldn't have. It couldn't wall Mamo anymore because of how weak it was from taking on the Mega Venusaur earlier. So I really should have sacked that instead. And you'll see how me letting Tangrowth go down will end up mattering later in the game. Here I decided to go to my Quillfish. I knew Waterfall didn't kill, but the chip would have been enough for itself to take the hit. This was a mistake as well. If I had exploded on this Mamoswine, it would have been a double down. I could have gone as Elf against his Reuniclus, and I'll let you know how that matters later in the game, or I guess in like a couple of turns. So down goes my Mamoswine here, or down goes my Reuniclus, here down goes my Quillfish to his Mamoswine. Jesus, I cannot talk. Here I'll attempt to click Nasty Plot. Had I clicked Nasty Plot, I completely won. But I didn't. If he predicted that and clicked the Shadow Ball, or had clicked the Iso Crash, and then he clicked the Ice Star, next game we just completely lost. So I decided to click the Shadow Ball. I should have clicked Nasty Plot thinking back on it. You'll see how that matters now. In fact, I'll just talk about everything right now. Which lost me the game here, because I'm going to click the Shadow Ball here. We're going to do about half. and he's gonna click the Trick Room and just sweep us, reverse sweep us at this point. So there's a lot of things that could have gone right for us at this point, that we could have done, which would have won us the game. Had we exploded with our Quillfish on the Mammoth we killed, we doubled down with the and then we would have gone itself on the Reuniclus. We live a signal beam from full from it. From this Reuniclus, and we just 2-killed with Shadow Ball. Yeah, he would have either had to, if he signal beamed as we Shadow Balled, we lived one and we just killed. Had he Trick Room, then he would have gotten the signal beam off the next turn. Like I said, we lived. So yeah, that was a mistake. Had we Nasty Plotted, I knew he was gonna have to Ice Shard because he didn't kill me with the signal beam, so he would have had to Ice Shard. So I should have just Nasty Plotted, and then we OHKO'd from with the Shadow Ball against the Reuniclus, and we killed the Mammoth one obviously after we lived the second Ice Shard. So we should have quick Nasty Plot. We would have won there. Had we roosted earlier in the game with the Mega Aerodactyl, we lived the hit from the Reuniclus. We literally lived. The U-turn chip literally got the roll in his favor for him to live, or for him to kill. And so, had we roosted earlier, we would have been in a great position. So that's unfortunate as well. Or had we kept the Tangrowth around, we lived a hit from the Reuniclus, and we would have knocked off his Life Orb, and we could live a Life Orb hit with Mega Arrow and kill with the Stone Edge. So literally, had we exploded with the Quillfish, had we Nasty Plotted against the Mammothswine, had we kept our Tangrowth, or had we roosted earlier in the game, any of those 4 things we could have done and won that game. But we completely choked it away with the Tone. GG, man. That was a good game. I mean, there's no hacks I can't complain about, anything like that. The GG Tone and Miami Malamarlins. There's a lot we could have done to win, but oh well. We're going to move down to 2-2, and we're now done using this draft. This draft was really fun to use. I really enjoyed it. We, you know, Azelfra, Bombi, and Mega Arrow, those 3 offensive mons, those were so much fun to use. We'll have a really fun draft. Not really a fun draft. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of it, but we'll have a new draft to use from weeks 5 through 8, and we will be facing Dr.Slaking and his Bowland Bovine next week, who's also 2-2. So we're both going to attempt to go back into that positive ratio, or positive record part of the bracket or of the standings. Make sure to check out Tone's YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff. That will all be in the description below. If you did enjoy, make sure that like button and that subscribe button. We are uploading APA weekly. And so yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to hit that like button, like I just said. I'm trying to get this out as quickly as possible. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Shady, and I'm out. Peace.